Good day, everyone. So today we are going to discuss about the chat with the history. Before we move on to build a chatbot, we should have a large language model with a chat setup, and it should be capable enough to record our chat transactions. So this setup called stateful set. So we will be interacting with the large language model, and the model will record our chat transactions in a backend database. So let's consider this example so that we all will be in the same page. So let's import our favorite large language model or Langchain modules. So for that, from Langchain Olama, our ChatLLM, then we need the prompts, basically Langchain core dot prompts. We are going to import basically the I'm sorry for the typo here. First we need to do system message prompt template. This is for the system, and human message prompt template for interacting with the user, chat prompt template for compiling this system message as well as the human message together to form a chat template, right? And we need message placeholder. So this is another component in the stateful chat setup. Next we are going to import from Langchain core. We will import output parsers. So this is for modeling our output. We will go for string output parser. I'm sorry, here output parsers. We are going to import string output parser. Next we are going to import from Langchain community dot history or message with history, chat message histories. From here we are going to import SQL chat message history. Next we need SQL chemi import create engine, because we need to enable a connector to our SQL database before we initiate that. And we have, I think almost we have done it. So let's build it, and if any modules are needed we will import it later. Okay, so base URL equal to contact/localhost colon 11434, and model equal to llama 3.2 colon 3 billion. Okay, and we are going to define our LLM. So that is chat llama. Then we will be passing this two parameters. One is base URL equal to base URL, and model equal to model. Perfect. So our LLM is ready. Now we have to set up the two prompts. One is the system message prompt template, and the second is human message prompt template, right? So for that, let's define system equal to system message prompt template, and from template we are importing it from the template. And here we will define that you are an assistant. So we are teaching our large language model that you are an assistant, so that your primary goal is to answer the questions raised by the end user, right? Now here we have user equal to human message prompt template from template. So here we will be defining it, our prompt, whatever the concerns we would be raising it, that would be there, right? Next, we are combining or compiling this together, and we will form a chat aligned template. So before that, let's do this messages equal to, because that will accept a list of elements, right? So for that, okay, so for that, first ingredient is system, second is user, the system prompt template is needed here, and user prompt template is needed, and along with we are going to pass one more parameter called message placeholder, and inside this message placeholder we need to provide a parameter called variable name. Okay, in this we will, for time being, we will define it as history. Okay, we will discuss it in detail by end of this video. Okay, so the messages are ready. Now next is template equal to chat prompt template, and here we have a parameter messages equal to messages. Perfect. So our template is ready. Now we have to form a chain, a large language model chain. For that template, that we are passing it to LLM, then the output we are passing it through string output parser, so that we will get the exact properly formatted string, right? So that is what we are expecting. Now our chat prompt template chain is ready. All right, now we are going to set up our database for our database connectivity. Perfect. So for that, first we need to do a connection setup. For that, let's do engine equal to create engine, and here we will define, because we are using a local database file. If you have a separate PostgreSQL or MongoDB database, you can select the connector and we can configure it. Indeed, in our next lecture, we will do such exercise. Nothing to worry. So this is SQLite : / I'll say that chat underscore database dot db. Okay, so our engine is ready. Next we are going to define a function. The function is like a get session history, because we need a history, right? In this we will give session underscore id, and is the parameter that we need to pass it, right? So, and what we will do here, SQL message history, and this will accept two parameters, right? One is session ID, and second is this engine. So what we are doing here, we have a method here, SQL chat message history, which accept our session ID. So if we pass the session ID, it will search with that session ID and it will give us the chat with respect to the session ID. Okay, and one more thing we need to pass it here, because this SQL chat message history requires a mandatory parameter, that is our database endpoint, right? So that database endpoint is this one. So we will, how do we pass it? We have to give connection equal to engine, so that the necessary ingredients are ready. So, and whatever the output is coming from here, that we are returning it into get session history. All right, so a basic Python function, nothing complicated. Okay, so we have loaded that as well. Perfect. So that part is completed. Now let's do this way. I'm gonna give user ID equal to Melvin, and here I'm going to do a history equal to get session history, and in bracket I'm passing this variable, right? So here it is taking one variable, I'm passing the same, I mean an argument, the same arguments I'm passing it through this function. So we would be executing this function. Well, now how do we get the value of that history? And if we look at it, we have this get messages method is active, so it should provide us a list of elements. Let's look at it. At present we don't have any message. Perfect. So this is expected behavior, nothing to worry at all. So we are coming into that point. All right, now our history get messages thing is there. Perfect. Now we have to import one more parameter here called runnables. So from Langchain core.runnables import runnable with message history. Okay, so here we are going to create a template. So runnables with history equal to runnables with history, and it requires certain output. So the first output, it is expecting our chain. The chain has already been defined, right? Next output it is expecting is we have a chain, and next we have to tell this message history that which user we are going to do that, or which transaction we are gonna do that. So for that an ID is there, right? So this session ID we need to get it. So for that what we should do is we have to pass this get session history over here. So this function we have to call it here. That is what I need to say. Okay, next parameter we have, there is history messages key, right? So for that I'm gonna give history. For now I'm going to give history, right? Next one more parameter we have, input messages key. Input in our case we are going to give this history messages key is the previous history that we are gonna inject it. Input messages key is the input that we are going to give it here. So for that we will mention prompt. All right, now our part is fine, so let me reorganize this part. Why am I doing this? Because I should have reorganized well in advance, but if I do this, I cannot use my tab, and the auto completion will not work properly. Sometimes, for example, if I do tab, then it will go like this. So that's the reason I prefer to do the arguments in a single line using the tab, so that we can select the necessary methods from the prompt and get it assembled. Later we will do this code beautification part, right? Now runnables with history is ready, so let's do an execution. Let's execute all the codes once again and see if there is any problem or not. All right, so far so good. Next we are going to define a function, right? A function in the sense define chatbot. So in this chatbot, it will take two input. One is session ID. Second is going to be the input. I'll mention prompt. Okay. What it should do? It is going to be giving output, or we can say response equal to runnables with history dot invoke. We have to invoke it. Okay, now what are all the parameters that are required? If we go for runnables with history, it requires an input prompt basically, right? And second is the session ID that we are going to pass it later. Okay, Now the history is a kind of a thing. It is automatically attached through this history message key. From this get session history is there, right? So from this get session history, it's a magic function or the feature available with this Langchain chat messages history. So this history parameter is a variable, it is passing here, so it will automatically feed it to the history message key. So that will go back to the that will be getting fetched from the database, backend database. All right, so here we need to pass the input. I'm going to give the input as called prompt, and the value is going to be prompt, right? Next we have to give config equal to configurable. So we have to update certain parameters here. It's called configurable parameter, and for that we need to further pass the second session ID, okay, where we are going to configure this parameter, because this is basically into a configuration related parameter, right? So we are going to give the configuration parameter. So that is session underscore ID. What is the value? Session underscore ID, because we have only the session ID here. So the session ID is the system parameter. Based on the session ID, it will fetch the appropriate chat from it, right? Next we need to do a return call, return response. So it will give us the response back, right? Next before that, let's invoke all the functions and see if there's any mistakes in it. All right, so far so good. Next we will be going to execute it, right? For that, let's do user underscore ID equal to let's say I'll give Melvin. Let me delete it from here, and I may say that profile equal to I am an IT professional from Kerala, India, currently living in Czech Republic, Praha, or Praha, Czech Republic. Praha, Czech Republic. Okay, so these two parameters I'm gonna pass it. So what will happen is chat or I'll give response equal to chatbot. Here my first parameter is user ID. I'm gonna give user ID. Second parameter is my prompt, so I'll give profile or whatever, okay, and I will go and print the same response and see how it behaves, right? All right, that's perfectly fine, because we tried to call this, right, history was here the user ID became the undefined parameter. That's perfectly fine. That's an expected behavior, not a problem. So let's do this. I'll put it here. Okay. If you look at it, Melvin is the user ID I have given. The database here, it is empty because we have no transactions, right? On the other hand, our chatbot function is being executed. Well, we have received a message here. It's very interesting. I have given some different name. I have given a name, but it went into hallucination. Interesting. So let me mention this, else our chatbot will create some problem, right? So, and additionally, what I will do is I'll copy this once again. I'll copy this, then I'll paste it here, and I'll copy this as well. I'll paste it here. So who is Melvin Satishan? Okay, and rest of the things are same. I'm just asking a separate question. So this question will go and pass it here, and it should provide us the input, right? So because in between I have updated one more parameter, so let's look at it, how it behaves. Okay, so if you look at it here, earlier we had a chat with the LLM and we had a history. So there we have human message, right? So we have already provided I'm an IT professional from Kerala, currently living in Czech Republic, so blah blah. And AI message is the system message that has been provided just, right? So it was searching within its database and it provided me certain response, right? So this way it provided that. What does it mean is it saved this two chats in their records, and from the records this using this session history function we have fetched it. So that is what is happening here. Now we will examine what happened to this question. I'm just printing that response. See, it is properly responding. Hello Melvin, so you are the IT professional from Kerala, India, living in Prague, Czech Republic. I couldn't find any specific information. That is perfectly fine. But our chat model is able to recognize me. That is what our expectation, right? Now, when we build a chatbot, we would be integrating. It's as simple as like we will use the same framework, and this framework where we have this prompt area, in this prompt area would be integrated with any chat bubble like a Streamlight or a Gradio or any other chat application, so that the users would be able to provide certain inputs, and that input will pass it through these complex chains and it will provide us the output. The same output can be printed in the chatbot application. Okay, our next effort is going to build a chatbot, and we will integrate that with our plain and simple chat model. So we are going to take a baby step to build our plain and simple chat application in our next video. So before that, I want you to be very clear on how this chat transactions happens and how do we save our chat records. And before you leave, or before we conclude this video, I would like to show you one more parameter here. I'm just gonna give this, right? Let's see what is the output pertain to this, right? If you look at it, the latest response also recorded here, right? Who is Melvin Satishan? This is what my question, and it has already been answered here, right? Now I wish to cancel, or I wish to clear this. How do I do that? For that I can do this history dot clear. It's basically a method, and if I do so, and now if I go and check this, what will happen? There is nothing, because I just flashed the memory so that the details that we have injected is no more. So in the chat application, we will do the same exercise, because whenever you want to start a new chat transaction, you will have a checkbox or a radio button where if you click it, it will automatically clean the memory and you will get a new chat prompt, right? So thank you so much for your time, and I hope this will help you in any manner. I'm very glad that if I will be very happy if it is helping you in any manner. Thank you guys. Thank you so much for your time, and bye bye.